Welcome back to another Pokemon Slab Sunday, where once a month we go through a ton of graded cards so we can see what's going up and see what's going down. And we are going to be doing a giveaway today. All you have to do is make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, leave a like, and then I want you to comment your favorite grading company besides PSA. And we're going to be giving away a Metal RCSV and Metal RCSV Star. And I do have to announce the winner from last Sunday's giveaway for the sealed Greninja promo and the sealed Snorlax promo. And for the member, the winner is at Andy D Farm D. And for the subscriber, it is at Snackbread. So just hit me up on email or Instagram and I'll get those cards sent out to you. But before we get started, we do have to give a big thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Metatcg. I know you guys are sitting on a ton of bulk. You might as well trade it in for some amazing rare Pokemon cards or magic cards or whatever it is. But it is so easy to sell your cards. You just fill out the bulk submission, put exactly the amount of cards you have. They do have to be near mint. Put all your info in. They even have a video showing you exactly how to package it. And you can get cash or, like I said, some amazing rare cards. So definitely check them out. All the links are in the description. But all right, let's get started. So the first half, we're going to be checking out some cards that are going down in price. But there was surprisingly a ton of cards going up in price, even though the raw prices are going down. We're going to start off with the Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. Of course, this card is going down. It just came out, but it was at like $2,000 on release. Now that's sold $1,100, $1,299, $1,179. And in my opinion, I feel like it's going to be right there with the Pikachu and the Greninja, right around $800 or something like that. Next, we have the Cynthia's Garchomp. This got up to $1,200 in a PSA 10. Now last sold is $750, $750. And do we have any more? Another one at $835, but that was a few days ago now. Next, we have the Ethan's Ho-Oh, my favorite card in the set. So it's at $703 in a 10. Now last sold $650 and $200 for a 9. Next, we have the Team Rocket's Moltres EX. Not a ton of sales for this one yet, to be honest. We do have a sale at $560 and another one at $565. Next, we have the Latias EX from Surging Sparks. Still slowly falling. Last sold $399, $403, $410. We got a 9 at $160 and $153. All right, we got the Greninja EX. So this was at $810. Got down to about $620. Now last sold $760, $690, $719. We got a 9 at $284 and $236. So actually coming up in price a little bit. And for the pop, it's $6,785 in a 10 and $5,540 in a 9. Next, we have the Gardevoir from Paldean Fates with a pop of $6,625 in a 10 and $5,750 in a 9. This was at $296, still relatively affordable. And now last sold $250, $194, $199, $192. We got a 177 down there. Next, we have the Groudon. This was at $430 with a pop of $3,765 in a 10, $4,810 in a 9. Got down to $299. Now last sold $350, $355, $320. So coming up in price a little bit. Next, we have the Charizard EX from 151. This was at about $1,000. This card has a pop of $19,166 in a 10 and $28,995 in a 9. There's even $9,561 in an 8 and $1,548 in the 7. Got down to about $660. Now last sold $730, $700. And we got another one at $745 and $675. Next, we have the Blastoise from 151. So it's at $350 in a 10. Now last sold $250, $255. We got a 9, pretty much the same price as raw for all these cards, right around $60. This card has a pop of $12,305 in a 10 and $18,484 in a 9 and $5,149 in an 8. Next, we got the Venusaur. Same looking chart basically as the Blastoise, was at about $330. Now last sold $232, $239, $250. And it's a pop of $11,000 in a 10 and $16,000 in a 9 and $4,661 in an 8. Next, we have the Magikarp. So this thing recently just went crazy in a 10, got all the way up to $2,270. Now last sold $1,986, $1,928, $2,050. This is why you never buy a card when it's just going crazy like that, because you will pretty much always lose money. If a card or box shoots up super quickly, it literally will always come down and kind of level out. Not saying it will always come back down to where it was, but it will 100% eventually come back down. But this is one of the tougher cards to grade in the Scarlet and Violet era. So there is only 2,964 in a 10 and 8,575 in a 9, 3,589 in an 8. Next, we got the Pikachu EX. This was at $2,800 on release, which is just so funny. Got down to $700. Now last sold $900, $825, $820, $850. Yeah, do not buy cards on release. There's like 10 different YouTubers that specifically make a video after every set release saying that. And the pop for the Pikachu is 5,340 in a 10 and 8,144 in a 9. Then we got the Pikachu with gray felt hat. This card is seriously just blowing my mind. I mean, it was literally a $200 card in a PSA 10. It started out originally at $1,500, which is crazy in 2023. And the pop just keeps growing higher, but the card just keeps going up in price. But I'm like 99% sure that I just read an article saying that this is the most graded card in Pokemon history. And it just keeps going up. Last sold $980, $960, $1,240, $999. And it was $700 in March of 2025. And then about $820 in June. And in the 9, $352 and $375. But yeah, 40,357 10s, 36,667 9s, 3,446 8s. And then I found this to be funny. There's only 894 7s, but there's 1,296 6s, which is crazy. I'm guessing those are going to be the ones that have like, you know, it looks clean, but there's a tiny little indent or something, so it's automatically going to get like a 6 or a 5. But yeah, this card is just one of a kind. I do not understand how it just keeps going up in price. Next, we have the Bubble Mew EX from Paldean Fates. This one has a pretty high pop compared to the other SIRs with 11,486 in a 10 and 14,276 in a 9. Got down to 766 in a 10. Now last sold $995, $999, and $1,000. So yeah, the PSA 10 going up in price, even though the raw has completely leveled out. Next, we have the Greninja EX promo. As you guys know, there's a huge promo boom happening right now. So it got down to 148 in the 10. Now last sold $255, $265. This card is absolutely beautiful though. I kind of like it more than the other Greninja, to be honest. But I really like this Kingdra the best. I think the Kingdra blows a Greninja out of the water. This was at $168, got down to $99. Now last sold $230, $198, $180, and $160. Next, we have the Lugia V alternate art. So this card is technically going down in price raw, but it's going up in price a little bit in the 10. It got down to $600 in a 10. It was at $700 before that, and now again, it's right up to $700. Last sold $705, $728, $736, $690. And the Lugia V pop has 18,710 and 10,833 in a 9 and 2,042 in an 8. And that's what I'm saying too. The Scarlet and Violet era is going to keep getting open for the next 2 years, like heavily, to where all these pops are going to at least double, maybe even triple. And then I know it seems like there's plenty right now to go around, but if the market truly cools off, these PSA 10s are going to be everywhere. We've seen it many, many times. I mean, every single Sword and Shield alternate art dropped by over 50% when we got into the Scarlet Violet era when the market cooled off. Next, we have the Giratina V. This has a pop of 7,899 in a 10 and 7,241 in a 9 and 2,083 in an 8. This was at 1,640, got down to 1,200. Now last sold 1,428. 1,500, 1,550, and this is another one where the raw is actually going down in price. Like we're right below $500 right now for raw, but the PSA 10's going up. Next, we have the Gold Star Umbreon from Celebrations. A huge fan of this card. I love Gold Stars. Has a pop of 10,417 in a 10 and 5,664 in a 9. I honestly thought the pop would be a little higher since it's such a small set, but I do remember the Umbreon being somewhat tough to pull, even though Celebrations is small. But this card was literally like $150 in a PSA 10 for the longest time. And if we go back even further, I mean, this thing was like 50, 60 bucks. Now last sold $340, $340, $351, and a 9 at $78. And if you guys didn't know, the original Gold Star Umbreon is worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It's so expensive. Next, we have the Shining Magikarp from Celebrations. Same exact looking thing, was $80. Now last sold $150, and we got another one at $199 and $150, and a 9 at $30. So this card is still very affordable raw, but it is a super cool card. And a year ago, it was $40 in a PSA 10. And the Magikarp has a pop of 5,743 in a 10 and 2,184 in a 9. Next, we have the Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies with a pop of 17,293 in a 10, 4,619 in a 9, and 1,066 in an 8. So as you can see, this card always goes up and down. Got up to 1,300, back down to 700. Same thing again, got up to 1,500, back down to 1,200. and then got all the way up to 2,903, back down to 2,191, and going up again. Last sold 2,575, 2,799. We got another 10 at 2,900. So pretty much right back to where it was at its all-time high, even though the raw is coming down in price a little bit. I mean, raw got up to about $1,500. Now last sold is like right around $1,100, $1,200. Next, we have the Rayquaza VMAX from Evolving Skies with a pop of 11,659 in a 10 and 3,342 in a 9. So very easy to grade, which is why this card is usually not that more expensive in a 10 than it is raw. This card was at $365 in a 10 in January of 2024. But that's what I'm saying. Like the alt arts just crashed hardcore. And then now last sold 1,200, 1,100, and 1,200. Next, we have the Dragonite V, one of my favorite alternate arts. This has a pop of 7,980 in a 10, 5,302 in a 9, and the low was $175 in February 2024. Now last sold $599. We got another one here at $599 and a 9 at $273. Next, we have the Umbreon V alternate art. This has a pop of 6,657 in a 10, 5,377 in a 9, and 1,369 in an 8. This got down to $180, and it got up to $602 in January, back down to $490. Now last sold $550 and $575. We got a $495 still, and we got a 9 at $200. Next, we have the Rayquaza V alternate art with a pop of 7,281 in the 10, 4,213 in the 9, and 1,200 in an 8. Same thing, got down about $160 in that exact same time in February. And now last sold in a 10, $450, $499, $499. The high before, though, was $600. Next, we have the Galarian Moltres V alternate art. So the high for this one was $653, constantly going up and down, up and down. Then got up to about $440, and now last sold in a 10, $369, $380, $356. So this one is going down in price with a pop of 5,602 in a 10 and 2,884 in a 9. Next, we have the Special Delivery Bidoof. I kind of want to get this card. I wish it wasn't so expensive in a 10, but the pop is 947 in a 10 and 2,052 in a 9. So it's a very, very low pop. And this card got down to about $500 last year. Now last sold $1,092, and we got 9s at $350 to $400, which is just crazy for this Special Delivery Bidoof. But like I said, it's such a low pop. Then we have the Special Delivery Pikachu. Still a pretty low pop, but definitely higher than the Bidoof. It's only 1,310 in a 10, 7,265 in a 9, 2,652 in an 8. So definitely very, very tough to grade. The low was probably like $400 in a PSA 10, and now last sold $2,000. Another one at $1,650, and we got 9s at $200. Next, we have the Special Delivery Charizard. So this is the most common. Still very tough to grade if you really look at it. There's just a lot more of them. There's only 4,237 in a 10, 15,000 in a 9, and 4,320 in an 8. This card was originally $1,600 on release and got down to about $200. Now last sold, we got 916, 1,228, and we got a 9 at $110 and $99. Next, we have the Pikachu V Gold card. This is from the Celebrations UPC. I feel like this is a very underrated card. Pokedata doesn't even have the pop report, so I'm not sure on what it is. I have a feeling it's not super high at all. It's been probably about a year since I've checked it, I think. But the low was $95 in a 10. Now last sold $450, $438, $281. We got a 9 at $45. Next, we have the Charizard V-Star. Love this promo. 8,174 in a 10, 21,588 in a 9, and 7,114 in an 8. So definitely a little tougher to grade. This was a $97 PSA 10 card. Now last sold $471, $450. The amount of people that were completely wrong on the entire Charizard UPC is crazy. I've seen so many different content creators when that box first came out that said, it's just so overprinted, it'll never go up in price. Literally one of the best boxes we've ever gotten. Great pack selection and some of the best promos ever. Next, we have the Charizard VMAX. Same thing, 8,875 in a 10, 17,320 in a 9, and 4,237 in an 8. Got down to $80 in a 10, now last sold $254. And do we have any more 10s? We got a couple 9s at $35 and another 10 at $225. So still somewhat affordable. Next, my favorite of all the promos. If you guys do not know, there is a Venusaur in this card. This card is the aftermath of the Sword and Shield Brilliant Stars Charizard V when they're battling. And this is when they're done, you know, just all tired and the whole chaos and mess, everything behind them. So this one is my favorite, but this has a pop of 6,819 in a 10 and 16,966 in a 9, 4,949 in an 8. This card was like $60 in a PSA 10 and now last sold $254, $190, $199. So if you can find this card, you know, below $200 in a 10, I feel like it's a very, very solid pickup. I'm going to try to get a couple more. I have one of each of these in a PSA 10. Wish I had more. I got a bunch of raw copies, but they probably won't 10. Next, we have the Japanese XY promo Hoopa. I was a big fan of this card. I've talked about it many, many times. This thing has gone wild. It was $122 in a PSA 10, which we picked it up at probably like $140. And now last sold on PokeData is $550. But this is a little behind. Check on eBay. Look at this. Last sold $1,100 in a 10, $1,450 in a 10, $1,375. I mean, this is one of the best cards that I've purchased this year. And the same thing with this next card. I was a big fan of this one. I've talked about it many times. This is the 2023 World Championship Pikachu EX SAR with Miraidon and Koraidon. This card is insane. As you can see, this was January 1st, 2025. Sold for $195 in a 10. Now last sold $700, $585, $599. I got a few of these. I just wish I would have got more, but it is such a nice card. I'm telling you, the texture and everything is crazy on this card. There's a nice gold World Championship stamp down there, and the lightning bolts are textured differently from the rest of the card. It's just so cool. Next, we're going to check out a couple older cards from like the Sun and Moon era. We have the Moltres and Zapdos Articuno GX Tag Team, the Stained Glass Birds. This has a pop of 24,000 in a 10, 12,374 in a 9, and 2,071 in an 8. So definitely was not super, super tough to grade. This was a $70 card in a PSA 10. Now last sold $399, $400, $397. Next, we have the Armored Mewtwo, one of the coolest promos. Just wish it had some texture. This thing has a crazy low pop, 286 in a 10. And then in a 9, 1657, and in an 8, 1044. So is that $370 in a 10 in 2023. Now last sold 2,602, and honestly, this was a few weeks ago, so they're probably even higher right now. Next, we have the Latios and Latios GX Tag Team, the Heart Birds, as people call it, even though they are literally dragons. That nickname has always bugged me, but look at the pop. There's only 1,937 in a 10, 1,360 in a 9, 662 in an 8, so there's just barely any of these cards. The Team Up set was not printed a ton. Like, we did not get any massive reprints for Team Up. This card was $663 in a 10 in 2021, and it just keeps slowly going up. It's crazy. Last sold is $8,000. For that, $7,500 and $6,900. I feel bad for anybody who's trying to collect all the tag teams in a 10 right now, because they are getting expensive. And even raw, I mean, $660, $1,800, $2,800, $1,125. Next, we have the Full Art Reshiram and Zekrom GX Tag Team. Alt Art, love this card. This is from Cosmic Eclipse. This only has a pop of 776 in a 10, 948 in a 9, and 326 in an 8. Look at that line going straight up. This card was only $260 in September of 2024 in a 10. Now last sold $2,200, $2,500, $2,225. That's why it pays off to watch some people that talk about some of these older cards and not just Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet every single video. Because, I mean, you could have been making plays like this. Next, we have my favorite tag team alternate art. I've said this many times, but I really want this as a statue in my house. I would love it life size, but my house is not big enough for that. Maybe one day, but I would love even just a miniature version of that. Pop is 1,262 in a 10, 1,297 in a 9, and 493 in an 8. This was $450 in August of 2024 in a 10, and last sold $1,320. We got a 9 at $383 and another 10 at $1,200. Next, we have the Blastoise and Piplup, finally getting some love. This card has a pop of 1,155 in a 10, 1,325 in a 9, 466 in an 8. This was a $270 card in December 2024 in a 10. Now last sold $999, $899, and we got a 9 at $350. And last on the list, we have the Shiny Charizard GX from Hidden Fates. This card just keeps slowly climbing. It was at like $1,600 in 2021 during that COVID boom. This card has a pop of 8,168 in a 10, 6,391 in a 9, and 1,248 in an 8. Now, during the first boom during COVID, this card was $1,700 in a PSA 10. Got all the way down to $575. Now last sold $1,200, $1,200, and another 10 at $1,150, and then we got a 9 at $500 and $455. So this card is doing good. I mean, in a world of special illustration rares and alternate arts, this is just a full art shiny, and it's Charizard, which a lot of people don't even like Charizard right now. You know, it's doing good. I definitely don't think it's going to keep going up forever, and I have a feeling it will come back down, as we've seen many, many times for this card, but still very cool. It always bugged me, though, that he looks blue. That's why I actually like these shiny Charizard full art from Champion's Path more than this card, because it's actually red and black, unlike this one, which is blue and red. But all right, that was today's Slab Sunday, and remember to comment your favorite grading company besides PSA in the comments to be entered into this giveaway. I am very curious to see what everybody says. And I do have to apologize about my voice. I got a little bit of a cold from Card Party. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day, and if you want to watch my last vending video, which was a super cool one, I let a fan come vend with me the entire day. He is the one from that super viral short that we made that got millions and millions of views of letting a fan vend with me, but he hung out with me the entire day. It was a blast. So click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.